How is it going to go down?
It's going to go
Jana?
down.
Because we're here.
Ken
Can you
tells
believe
me
it?
I need to produce more energy.
I said muster it up.
Produce.
Mhm.
Same difference.
Yep.
I just had acupuncture, and so I'm riding that wave at the moment.
Yeah.
I wondered when I booked it how that would go.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. That could be interesting, like floating for 60 minutes and then trying to do something on the screen. But
Wait a minute. Were you floating or doing acupuncture?
I was floating while doing acupuncture.
Wow.
Have you had acupuncture?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
Oh, man. I've been going
Never.
to see Emma. I try to keep everything I do like within our community.
You're like, the only bread
So-
that I eat is actually from somebody who bakes
Yeah.
it for me, who's a YogaPod.
Which isn't true because I don't eat bread. But
Okay.
Emma Goulart, she practices at the studio, and then she is at the acupuncture clinic of Fort Collins. So she's magical. I love her, and it's really I had acupuncture once, like I don't know, 6 or 7, 10, 12 years ago. And it wasn't anything to write home to Mom about, but my sessions with her are really wild.
You've been writing a lot of letters to your mom about it.
Mom gets the letters.
All right. Awesome. I can't wait to have Emma on. That'd be fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You totally should. She was telling me some really cool things about Chinese medicine and how there's not a lot of formulas in Chinese medicine where if you have this symptom, it means this and you can do this to fix it. There's only a few of those. And I had like all of them that led to having a yin deficiency, meaning I needed to rest more. I'm like, oh, go figure. And then somebody was telling me yesterday that, you know, the Chinese cycle goes in like 12 years, I think, because there's like 12 animals. And the 12th year is turning in February. And it's all, the whole cycle starting over again. So
fun.
There's a lot of woo-woo stuff going on.
Sounds like a lot of woo-woo stuff. So speaking of woo-woo stuff, we got Chris.
Chris!
Yeah.
He's Mr. Woo-Woo.
I am.
Yeah, he's like, woo-woo.
Yeah.
That was way too loud.
Yeah, that's
No,
my
it was-
alias.
That was really loud.
It was adequately loud, is what I would say.
Yeah, it was pretty loud.
I love that you're Mr. Woo-Woo now. When did this happen?
Just now.
Just now. You didn't know that?
Oh,
That's
I'm
great.
so excited you're here.
Me
Me
as well.
too. I'm nervous.
Are you?
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, don't be nervous.
Everybody's nervous.
My heart is like
We say
Is
don't
it really?
be.
a little bit.
I feel like we need a better setup too, because
Why? Make them more nervous.
because he's got to go like this.
Yeah.
It's like
Or you can
It's
just,
okay.
what I do is I look on the screen. And
yeah.
I see.
Or I
Oh,
also just stare into the ether
Ken
a lot.
like-
I'm like,
just
Ken likes
look into
to
the camera's eyes.
adopt his blue steel look and kind of see if he can make that work for himself. He's hoping to get a few modeling gigs out of these podcasts.
couple Zoolander, because everybody wants a middle-aged dude with a ponytail.
I mean, I could probably name
As a
15
model.
women right now. One of them is a ponytail.
That's true.
They can't do TT Bosna. Anyway, we're here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
so
and we're back.
excited.
It's been, I had a couple people ask me, like, hey, is that
Me
going to
too.
happen again? So I'm excited that we're here. We're here with Chris Maestas.
How do you pronounce that
Yeah,
for your
funny.
fans?
Mestas.
Mestas. That's so much easier.
Don't
Yeah.
overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot.
come on,
yeah.
you know me.
My teachers in grade school would always say Maestas.
Mhm.
Is it Maestas? Maestas?
Mm.
My friends
No.
used to call me Chris Mestas Pants.
Aw.
That's who you are.
Ooh,
So rude.
that is rude. I would agree with
Oh.
that.
That's terrible.
But yeah, Mestas.
Okay.
Mestas.
Yep.
I
Mestas.
dig it.
Excellent.
Mestas.
You're a man of the world, as well as a yoga teacher.
Man of the world.
Yes. Yes, I am.
I'm just making stuff up. I don't know Chris that well, so I'm just like,
Mr. Woo, man of the world.
yeah,
These
sure.
are all really awesome things.
No,
Well, Chris
Sure.
is incredible. He, how did you even come to us? Like, were you practicing at YogaPod? I blacked out.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So you were
Yeah.
practicing, and then you did the 200 hour,
Mhm.
and then you did the fit training.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I started practicing right after you guys opened,
That's right.
like within the month or two.
Those times are a blur.
No, yeah.
What
Oh,
drew
I'm
you to
sure.
YogaPod?
Well, the person I was dating at the time brought me there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh,
So that's how I got
the
introduced.
exes.
That's how I got introduced to it. Yeah,
Cool.
thankfully, thank God, because here I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Still.
I mean, that's what I love so much is when you, like I was saying earlier, when you stick within your community, really awesome things happen. I mean, Chris was practicing, and we nudged him to kind of, explore the 200-hour teacher training option, and thank God you did, because I mean, you're teaching a ton of stuff now. How many classes are you teaching at all the places a week?
6 total.
Which is a lot, because you
Mhm.
also have a full-time job at one of my favorite restaurants in town, which is
Tasty Harmony.
yeah.
Yes, vegan goodness.
If you haven't been to Tasty Harmony, I'm gonna plug them because they're amazing.
Yeah.
My husband and I quit drinking. Chris is also a non-drinker, correct?
Correct.
So is Ken.
Bunch of non-drinkers
It's
here.
the
I
new
didn't know you
thing.
did.
I am
Yeah.
telling you, it is the new
Yeah.
thing. I meet more and more people every day that are not drinking, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, look at us go.
I didn't know that you.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink in quite some time.
Nice. Do you feel so much
Except
better?
for the vodka that she drinks at work out of a water
Right.
bottle.
I
But I
mean,
mean that
that-
doesn't really count.
during hot class.
Yeah. Shh.
No, when my husband quit drinking, I mean, it just doesn't make sense really for me to be drinking. So, and yeah, I feel way better. I never in my life ever want to have another hangover again.
Oh yeah, that's like
The
the
thought
number
of-
one perk.
Oh, makes me nauseous just
Yeah.
thinking about it. But
Mhm.
I'm like really sweating, like a lot. Like it's running down to my elbow.
Oh, that's
my
cute.
God.
Good
It's
luck,
the
wa-
acupuncture.
Good luck
I'm, like,
washing
sweating it
that
out.
sweater.
Woo! All right. Chris thought, I'm not nervous. I'm just sweaty.
Right?
Anyway, we go to Tasty Harmony for drinks. You can't see my dick fingers, but I'm doing them. And they have this reishi. Is there chaga in it too, or just reishi? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the reishi
The
cappuccino.
$25 cappuccino.
I think it's like 7.
It gets more expensive every time I say it to Chris.
Yeah.
It is the best thing I've ever had in my life. It's like the best cappuccino, and it's made from mushroom,
Mushroom
And
powder, and a few other
cacao,
things.
and oh my gosh. So if you're a
Yes.
non-drinker,
That sounds delicious.
Tasty Harmony has the best happy hour. So my husband and I will go there, and we'll have reishi cappuccinos and cookies, and like that's
Oh,
our
yeah.
date night.
Mm.
Cakes, all the cakes.
All the cakes. It's so good. Anyway, so Chris works there,
Getting real
Yep.
hungry.
gives me an excuse to go there more often. So
Yeah, it's a great place. Love
It's
it there. Yep.
it's pretty awesome.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, we're super happy to have Chris in our community. He teaches Pod Fit with
Mhm.
exuberance
And vigor.
and
And
excitement
bigger.
and
Yes.
grit.
Love me some pod fits.
We hear that his classes are incredibly challenging.
Yeah, I try. Yep, I'm all about plyometrics.
Tell
Lots of
us what a
jumping.
plyometric is for
Just
those of us that
jumping.
are sweating to our elbows. I don't know who that is.
Just a lot of jumping moves,
Okay.
which, I mean, it's not for everybody, if you have sensitive joints or whatnot. But I
Mhm.
mean, there are tons of ways to modify it. But yeah, I love them. Gets the heart rate up,
Mm.
burns the calories, gets the job done.
I admire it because I mean, teaching yoga is complex, right? Even if you're teaching a set sequence like a flow one or a hot, there's still 85 things to pay attention to in that 1 hour or however long. But teaching fit intimidates me. I mean, I can't
Mhm.
imagine trying
yeah.
to demo weights and I can barely breathe if I'm trying to like demo a forward fold and teach at the same time.
Yeah.
Funny side note, I was teaching last week when I probably shouldn't have because I was still sick and my voice was like really froggy. So 5 minutes into the class, I already could barely talk, so I had brought in a couple lozenges. So don't try to teach with the lozenge in your mouth.
Did you spit it out on somebody?
Swallow it.
Well,
Swallow
I had
whole.
it in, and I was trying to teach and like manage it and like put it off to the side, and I'm like talking all dumb, and I bent over to demonstrate
You spit on the floor.
the forward fold, and no, I drooled. It was like this lozenge drool.
Ah,
It's like
gross.
gooey, like gross lozenge drool, like, and it was stringy all the way to the mat, and it was so gross. And I'm like, I'm gonna take this lozenge out.
That's disgusting.
I
hilarious.
know, but it
Well,
happens.
Good to know.
But I love
Lozenges.
I love Chris's fit classes, and I
Mhm.
love why you got into yoga and fitness in the first
Mhm.
place. And I think you have a really fascinating story that you can share as much or as little as you'd like of. But Chris and I are both from Wyoming,
Yeah, tell us about
Wyoming
tell us
Ice.
about
Rock Springs.
yeah.
Rock
Tell us
Springs.
about Rock Springs and what it was like growing up in Rock
boy.
Springs.
It's kind of an art.
No, it was a little. I mean, it was great growing up there. You know, it's a great place as a kid. You know, we played outside a ton.
Pretty safe
Yeah,
ish.
yeah, very safe.
Okay.
You know, and I was born in '82, so it was you know pre-internet.
Mhm.
You know, kids playing outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Pardon me.
great.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's just a lot of phlegm happening
Oh, no,
over
you're-
here.
It was great as a kid.
Mhm.
As a young adult, that's another story.
Yeah, it wasn't as great, huh?
I mean, I love Rock Springs, love the people there. There's not a ton to do there.
Mm.
You get tired
It's
of
a
playing
small town.
outside when you're a teen.
Yeah, and it's
Mhm.
just, you know, so windy all the time.
Yes.
Mm.
It's like gale force winds every day.
And for people that don't know where Rock Springs is, you just basically just keep going on I-80. Is that right?
Yeah, It's like
You
the
just
south,
keep- Just keep going. Just keep
Mhm.
going west. And then-
southwestern corner of Wyoming. So like 3 hours west of Laramie.
Mhm.
Yeah, like closer to Utah.
Mhm.
Spent a lot of time in Salt Lake City
Mm.
Yeah.
because it's like the closest big city to us.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, as a young adult, you know,
How long did you stay there?
I was there off and on until recently, like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like I would move away, come back, move away, come back.
Just trying things out.
There's
There's more out there. I know it.
yeah.
And then you come back. Would you come back with like tail between your legs, or was there like a reason why?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're being really elusive. I like this. This is
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
But yeah, I mean my whole 20s were kind of a mess though.
And so
Oh, come on. You're talking to Jana and I.
I mean, we all have our messes.
We all
that's
have
for
our
sure.
messy
But I
20s.
Yeah.
can totally, I mean, I sympathize with the small town. It's the same in Sheridan. Like, I had an awesome childhood, and Sheridan is beautiful. It's up by Montana, and
Mhm.
just, yeah, we camped and fished and hiked, and we were always outside, and we played in the neighborhood till 10 p.m. and rode our bikes everywhere. But when we were teens and in high school, I mean, it was Party Town, USA. And that's what you did.
Totally.
There was
Yep.
nothing else to do. That was, I mean, that's an excuse, right? Like, we say that, but it was just so prevalent. Just, and you
Mhm.
know, Wyoming has it has the highest suicide rate in the nation.
Oh.
And I can't help but think it's just because it's so isolated and
Mhm.
Oh, I was thinking windy.
and windy.
That too.
Sheridan's not windy, but lots of places in Wyoming are. And
Yeah.
Yeah, southern Wyoming.
wind
Especially-
certainly has its
Mhm.
own kind of stirring up of things for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, there's a
tell
lot
us-
of love for Chris. We got Debbie,
Good.
Connie,
Oh my God.
Katie, Kristen. Everybody's loving you, Chris.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's barely said anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Just
I know, I'm
nice.
I'm a man of few words. Right?
So tell us, paint us a picture of your 20s.
Mm.
Oh, like you said, Party Town, USA. I was a hardcore delinquent.
Mm.
Mm. Did you get arrested?
Yeah.
Oh,
Several
woo.
times.
All right. Now we're
Certainly
good.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my friends, yeah, we get into so much trouble.
Mhm.
So much
What
trouble.
were some of the things that you were doing?
Oh man, name it. Drinking a ton, drugs, shoplifting, vandalizing.
Mm-hmm.
So many bad things.
Did you shop? Was there a Walmart? Did you shoplift from the Walmart?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Uh-huh. I know that gig.
Yep.
What do you think
But,
it is that, like, what is it that pushes us in that direction in our late teens and early 20s? I mean, it certainly can't just be small town life, right? Because Ken grew up doing
I grew
all
up
sorts of
not
stuff.
in a small town, and we said the same thing. There's nothing to do here, and we just go.
And my kids are already saying that, and I'm like, oh, no.
Yo, yikes.
Oh, no, we're in
Yikes.
trouble. But why do we do that? Does anybody, do you have any insight?
I feel like it's different for everyone. For me, mostly, I was just doing what my friends did. I was kind of a follower. Like whatever my friends did, I would tag along. Even if I didn't necessarily want to do it, I would do it anyway. Just to kind of be part of that inner circle, kind of.
Be part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you
It makes me
got,
sad.
because I know you have a really good relationship with your parents.
Oh, yes.
So where were they during all of this? What was it that was like, why are we trying to fit in with even people that are like a negative influence on us?
Oh, man. I mean, they were around, and they were so great. Still so great. Love them. Hi, Mom. I know you're listening to this.
Bailing you out of jail.
No, they never bailed.
They
No.
didn't? Oh, man.
My boss's wife did, though, one time because I had to work the next morning, so she bailed me out just to take me to work.
Wow.
So that was,
Sounds like a small town sort of thing.
Yeah,
So what
right.
got you out of it? What got you out of the maelstrom of your 20s?
Oh man, well,
Because I mean, you got to still be in your 20s, right?
no, not
He-
even.
His age just blows you away. When you
Okay.
find out.
No, I'm 37.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
When Ben
Yep.
found out how old you were, he was like, no, he's not.
Benjamin Button. Got Benjamin Button
I
on
know,
our
Ben.
hands.
Yep, right, baby face.
Yeah.
Going backwards. That's good. Keep
Yeah.
it up.
Well, thank you. That's all the yoga.
Yeah.
Thanks to the yoga.
Yeah,
Nice.
yoga.
Yep.
Shout out to yoga.
But I mean, I quit drinking completely 4 years ago now.
Okay.
And why?
I didn't really make a conscious decision to quit altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up one Monday just barely hungover from a hardcore weekend bender, like I always did. Yeah, no surprise there. But this particular hangover was like really bad. I was so sick, so sick.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like mid-September. And
You living in Fort Collins?
No, I was still
Okay, you're in Rock Springs.
Rock Springs.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I kind of made a decision. I was like, I just need to take a break from this. Like,
Yeah.
my body just can't handle it. So I
He
told
clutches
myself,
his liver.
Yeah, I'm flashbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just told myself, I'm gonna take about a month-long break. And once Halloween rolls around, then it's on again. That could be like my celebratory.
Okay.
Get
wild.
Back to it.
That's
Get
right.
crunk.
Halloween,
Yeah.
get crunk. Yeah.
Drink some orange beer. Yep.
Yep.
You bet.
But yeah, and then Halloween rolled around. Me and some friends went to Salt Lake City, and a bunch of them went to a Garth Brooks concert. So I was kind of hanging out by myself.
Why didn't you go to the Garth Brooks concert?
Oh, I just didn't have a ticket.
Oh, okay.
Nothing against Garth Brooks. I've actually seen him in concert
I
several
like
times.
Garth. We grew up with Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Rope in the Wind was one of my favorite albums when I was like 8.
Yeah, same here.
I feel really differently about both of you now.
No. Oh.
Okay.
But
Judging.
But
Somebody's judging.
Fully.
I know, right?
No.
I'll stand by it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
same
okay.
here.
Right.
Go
Cool.
Garth.
Cool.
But yeah, all my friends were at the concert, and I debated. I was like, I could go to the clubs and have some drinks while I'm waiting for them. But I just felt so good,
Mhm.
that I just decided maybe I should keep this up. Maybe I shouldn't drink tonight. And then I just haven't drank ever since.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so impressive.
It's really hard. I mean, it's still hard. It'll always be hard.
Mhm.
Do you think, so are there times where you're like, oh, I'd really like to have a whatever?
Kinda.
Yeah.
And like, it's really hard for me to like go out with friends, you
Mm.
know? Because friends will always go out and invite me to go.
Sure.
But, you know, I generally try. Yeah, that's always kind of hard for me. Just
Mhm.
watching everyone else drink. I'm just kind of sitting there, you know?
Mhm.
That's always hard. So I kind of just try to avoid going out altogether. But
It's interesting because it's like you feel like you're missing out on something, but you know you're not.
mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
you know the consequences. You know the way you're going to feel the next day, and you know how disappointed you'd be if, after 4 years of sobriety, you decided to
Mhm.
get crunk on a Friday night or whatever.
Mhm.
Did you say crunk?
Crunk,
Huh.
yeah. I'm like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, you are.
right.
You're
Well,
little,
I'm only
little
gonna
J.
speak like Lil Wayne today.
Little J.
But it, you know, I think we create these constructs in our head, and Ben and I have been talking a lot about this recently. And no offense to anybody for having a beverage ever. I mean, I think I want to make
Good
that
on you.
known, and I think it takes a really deep, like knowing, like understanding of yourself to know, hey, like for me, I know I could go out and have a cocktail on a Friday night and not have another one for 2 months and be fine.
Mhm.
But Ben knows through a lot of soul searching and yoga and meditation that one beer for him will lead to more, and then it's, you know, he's back in it. And so I think you have to really dig deep to kind of find out about yourself. But the alcohol culture, especially here in Fort Collins, is so intense. It's
Mhm.
like, it's all, I mean, it's everything. Let's go get a beer. Let's go to the brewery. Let's go out for happy hour. Let's watch the football game and have beers. I mean, it is just everywhere all the time.
Mhm.
And
All the breweries.
I just don't. It's so. I have such a different experience. It's so. That's so not my.
I think,
And I think because I'm old.
and no, 'cause
And I've
you've
also
had
been-
longer.
Yeah, and I've also
Yeah.
been sober for 29 years now or something.
It's not your age, but it's
Right.
the length of time you've had to separate yourself.
Well,
from
yeah,
it.
and I think in the people that, and it's not even intentional, but I just end up. It's very rare that I end up at like a party where everybody's just like getting boozed up.
Do people
Mhm.
go to parties anymore? Like, do people have parties anymore?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course they do.
I've been to a few.
I haven't been to
Yeah.
a, have I been to a party? Not one.
Yeah, the YogaPod party.
Yeah, like I throw
Yeah.
a party for the studio, and that's the party I go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think the longer, I mean, I can say this from quitting smoking because it's been my
4 months.
I know, I'm like trying to think. It's been like almost like 13 years since I quit smoking or more.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But I smoked a pack a day
Me too.
for almost a
Mhm.
decade.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I would say for like a solid 8 years, it was like just kind of a little bit of a yearning every now and then, like in the summer or on a road trip or whatever it may be. But that's gone. And I just think it comes with time. Like,
Mhm.
you start to feel good, you start to find outlets for all of that.
Well, what's interesting specifically about drinking or not drinking or whatever is it's really just kind of a symptom,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And until, at least for me, until I got down to like the causes and conditions
Mhm.
behind that, it was pretty dicey,
Yeah.
you know, because it was a solution for me,
Yeah.
right? Like it worked for a while, you know, and then it just didn't work anymore. And then it became more of a liability than it was an asset. And I certainly didn't think about it that way. But I think, actually I know now that for me, getting down to what it was that were the things that were internal that I felt like I either needed to fix or that gave me some sort of solution to, were really the crux of the,
Yeah.
it wasn't really about the booze.
No, it's about the numbing,
You know?
think.
Mhm.
So how have the last 4 years been for you without a substance? Like, I don't know, is there like an unraveling that takes place, or?
No, it's been fine. I mean, when I moved here, though, I was like, man, I picked a bad time to quit drinking. This place looks so fun. All the
Yeah.
bars and the breweries. But, you know, if I didn't quit drinking, I wouldn't even be here in the first place.
Yeah,
So.
there you go.
But, no, I mean, it does get easier as time goes on, as with everything. But, yeah, like I said, it's still hard, though.
Yeah, it
That makes
is.
sense.
It's hard when it's in your face. It's hard when,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the thing I keep thinking about is like how it's like a lot of times how people unwind, and that's what they say, you know, that's how I unwind. And it's been a lot of just like spending time with myself
Mm-hmm.
to finally be comfortable with just being with myself. Like in the evening, it's just my thoughts, you know, I'm not having a glass of wine or whatever to chill out. It's just, here's me in my head and my thoughts just hanging out.
Mhm.
You really have to start to get comfortable with yourself, I think. And
Oh, there's a million other ways you can escape from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There
You know.
are.
Totally.
Yeah, there are.
Yoga.
Yeah, well, and
It
I
all
was,
comes back to
I guess,
yoga, right?
yeah, I guess I was kind of curious about that. Like, how did yoga kind of impact that journey? Because obviously you started, well, I don't know. I mean, did you
When
start
did you
doing
start?
yoga up in Rock Springs?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, there's not too much yoga in Rock Springs. I think there's like a few classes here and there, but I never went to them.
Mm.
When I was living in Wyoming, I didn't really work out in general too much. Like I would do tapes at home here and there.
Mhm.
What kind of tapes did you do?
Jillian Michaels.
Jillian Michaels, I
She's the
love
best.
her.
I know, I love her too. I would do her tapes, and then she had a yoga one, Yoga Meltdown,
Yep.
that one of my friends told me I should try it. And that's the first time I ever tried yoga was with her DVD. And I would do it at home sometimes. And, you know, I thought it was fine. I was like, yeah, this is whatever.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I moved here.
Mhm.
And then, again, the person I was seeing at the time just took me to Core Power out of the blue, didn't even really tell me, and said, we're going to this class. And I was horrified, so scared, nervous. So I had never been in a class.
In a studio environment.
Yeah, in a studio environment. But
What class did he take you to?
I can't remember. I think it was just a C2,
Which is
I
a what?
think.
Heated
It's like-
vinyasa.
Yeah, heated vinyasa.
Okay.
Do you remember who the teacher was?
No.
Mm.
But I do remember taking Justine's sculpt class there when she was still there. Justine, such a badass. Love her, miss her.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, and then I did the free week there, and that's where I really like fell in love with like I went to the sculpt classes more than anything.
hmm
I just really connected with the sculpt classes.
So, in their sculpt class is yoga with weights, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different than what you're teaching now.
Right.
So it incorporates the yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I did the free week there, and I loved it. But I just, didn't go back because of money issues, of course.
Sure.
And then YogaPod was opening,
Mhm.
and
Like,
so went and
I'll
checked
do a
that
free
out.
week there.
Yeah, I did the free week there, and I just really fell in love with it there.
What was it about it you think that made you fall in love?
Oh man, the instructors.
Mhm.
I remember Julia was my very first class.
Mhm.
And I look up to Julia so much. I
Yeah.
still do.
Good.
And yeah, fell in love with her. I would go to her classes all the time.
And what would you find when you created like a consistent habit? Because I think that's something that people maybe don't necessarily get, is like one yoga class a week, maybe two. That's going to be great. And if you've been practicing a long time, it certainly helps you maintain. But if you're new to yoga, like diving in and going 4, 5, sometimes 6 times a week is so transformational at the beginning of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just different for everybody as to why. But was there something that stood out to you or things you were feeling or noticing that really kept you on that path?
Oh yeah, I learned just so much about myself just going to those classes.
Like what kinds of things were you learning?
Mostly physical at first, you know, just noticing like different muscle engagements that I never knew was there before. Yeah, like I really connected to yoga on a physical level in the beginning.
Yeah, as do a lot of us.
Mm-hmm. And then it turned into a mental game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just how much I learned about myself. You learn a lot about yourself in your practice.
When did you start going to hot?
When did I?
It took you a little while.
It did. Yeah, I honestly
took a while to warm up to it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it here and there, but I honestly didn't love the hots at first.
Mm-hmm. Because why?
Because like I would get really dizzy,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just the
That's the
extreme
goal.
heat.
That's the goal.
No, I know. I still get
I'm
dizzy.
just
Like I
kidding.
was telling you, your class last week. Man. But yeah, it was just really, really difficult for me. Just the heat, the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, yeah, it just kind of gave me anxiety a little bit.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
All the good things.
Because hot is not a physical practice.
No.
Yeah.
It is a mental game all the way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the more you can learn to understand that about hot,
Mm-hmm.
the more successful you'll be in the class. But it's not about the physical posture.
And the more successful you'll be in life.
in life, yeah. I mean,
I would say.
Hot's wild. My niece texted me on Sunday because I texted her. She gets to go to 1 class a week now.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to go to the Sunday 90-minute, and I texted her early and was like, "Hey, happy Sunday. I hope you got to go to hot today." And she texted me back and she's like, "I did. So fucking transformational. This shit works." And and it's so true. Brad and I were having this conversation where hot is like eating your vegetables and drinking your green shake.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary for optimal health and wellness. It is like brushing your teeth. It's maintenance of the mind.
Sure.
And, you know, people go in with these preconceived notions about the postures and how they should look and how you should achieve them. And it's like, it's all in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
It's all about just breathing and getting through it.
And being still.
And being
Just
still.
being so
That
still.
stillness, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun to watch those kids do it.
Yeah. Tell us about your yoga for youth.
Well,
Where was that when
yeah.
we needed it, right?
I know,
Chris?
right?
Yeah.
God,
Well,
I so wish I had yoga as a
It's
teenager,
cool
as a
watching them and like watch the light come on, especially like in Savasana.
Mhm.
Like that specifically to me is like that stillness when they're all still and not fidgeting. That's like
Which is amazing for
ding, ding,
kids.
ding. Like you win today, you know.
These kids are
All
never
those kids
still.
won. Yep.
Mhm.
So
They're
it's pretty
always
cool.
Busy and
I did have one of them. I can't remember what we were in. Balancing stick, maybe. No, it was something where they were looking in the front mirror, and I was like, "Now look into your eyes and tell yourself that you love yourself." And they all started laughing. They were like, "Ah, you gotta be kidding me!" And I'm like, "Oh, you'll figure it
You're
out.
like, just say
Yeah.
it in your head.
You'll figure it out.
Just say it
You
in your
know,
head.
Like
yep.
one day.
You'll figure out how important that is."
Yeah.
Anyways,
is
but it was
so
it's been
important.
cool.
I do think that's part of what yoga teaches us too, is just to be patient and understand that we're just, you know, we're doing the best we can. If you're in a yoga class and you have a yoga practice, you're doing a pretty good job.
You're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
taking care
Yep.
of yourself.
True.
Try to be your best meat sack that you can.
your skin bag,
Your skin bag.
your flesh suit.
That's right.
Ew, that's what Ram Dass probably says it, I think, the best. He calls it a space suit.
A spacesuit?
Rest in peace, Ram Dass, by the way. What a cool.
I think he was living in
soul.
peace.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so Ram Dass, you don't know who Ram Dass is. I feel like, so we talk about him in teacher training a little bit. And we've talked about him on here before. He was a Harvard professor turned spiritual kind of speaker, influencer, author, and spent the better portion of his life
Just a lot of people would call him a guru.
Yeah,
Right.
he is a guru.
Mm-hmm.
Just helping people live their best selves and to understand that, like, one of his famous quotes is, "We're all just walking each other home. Like, death is the inevitable, right? We're just here in this space suit, and it has cool things that it can do, but that's not the purpose, right? The purpose is to learn more about your higher self." And he did a lot of really good work. He passed away like in his 80s in Miami. He had a stroke like years, and like I think even a decade or so ago. But yeah, he said it was a spacesuit.
A
Like,
spacesuit.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
I feel a little spacey
I don't know,
sometimes.
flesh bag.
Flesh bag, skin suit, meat sack.
Meat
None
sack.
of those are nearly as endearing.
It's true.
Right.
So tell us about what was that turning point for you where you're like, I am going to take teacher training. And did you take it with the intention of teaching?
No, not even. I was really reluctant to do teacher training. Just because, I don't know, I get anxiety about everything. But
I don't know this about you.
I know, right? But I really try to live by the philosophy, if it scares you, you should probably do it. Within reason, of course.
It's so true.
Mhm.
Which is why I'm here right now.
Yay!
Because
Mm-hmm.
Overcoming
scaring the
fears.
crap out of me.
Overcoming fears.
Yeah,
Right.
no, totally. So, yeah, and then just, a few of the instructors there at the time kind of nudged me into it.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, let's do this. But yeah,
Who nudged you? Who gave you the most nudges?
mostly Julia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which she
No,
was the
Julia.
program director at the time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, the inaugural
Mhm.
teacher training.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the first one.
Mhm.
And what was the process like? I mean, it's so different for everybody. Ken's about to embark on his
Mhm.
first 200-hour. He already has, 60 hours and lots of hours of teaching under his belt. So this is really cool because you're entering into kind of with a different space than a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people.
Mhm.
But
I'm excited.
regardless of where you're at in your practice, the 200-hour is magic
Mhm.
for anyone, any training they take. So tell us about your experience.
Yeah. I mostly took it just for educational purposes. Mostly for like the posture breakdowns, because there were so many postures. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right,
Mhm.
So that's kind of the main reason why I initially took it. But man, that was an intense couple months, that teacher training.
It's intense.
Yeah, it's very intense. It was amazing. Learned so much more than I ever thought. Yeah, it wasn't until I taught my public class that I was like, okay, maybe I do want to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I taught my public class, I don't know, almost reached this tiny little hint of santosha,
Mhm.
just the high I felt after teaching that
Mhm.
class. I was like, man, yeah,
More of that.
more of that, please.
And
And I
you're-
still feel that way after every class,
Oh, man.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just on cloud nine a
Teaching,
little bit.
yeah, I think that's people don't understand. Teaching is so powerful for the
Mhm.
teacher. And your public class was so amazing. I remember taking it and feeling like so
Oh.
proud. And tell us about some of the challenges that you experienced in teacher training.
Oh man, opening up to everybody.
What's that like?
It's so hard. I still have a hard time with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, 'cause, we would have to share a lot with each other. That was really, really difficult for me. Because I don't know, I'm kind of a reserved, kind of withdrawn person
What's the most
in a
difficult
way.
thing you shared?
In teacher training?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah, of course you don't. Why? If it was hard to share in teacher training, why is he going to share it on a podcast?
Because this is what we're doing.
Okay, my Lise.
Hey, you told me
You're
to
channeling her.
muster energy. And
You're channeling her.
Yeah, right?
This is where we're doing good cop, bad cop. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Chris, you don't have to do it. You
No,
don't have to
okay.
say it.
Just kidding.
I mean, I don't really recall anything in particular being like challenge. Just talking in general. Just talking with. It's just hard for me.
And like letting people in to know
Yeah,
who you really are.
Mhm.
You know, like fears, warts, and all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You
it's
know,
a bit of
like
a
all that stuff.
counseling
Yeah.
type session. I remember
Yes.
in my 200-hour training is when it clicked in my head that I had pretty bad postpartum depression after Marley, and
Mhm.
it never even occurred to me. I thought I was just tired and new mom and everything. And after we had like a big sharing session, I was like, oh my God, that was depression. Like, how did I not realize that? And I think there's just when you're in a safe space and you can talk and sort things out, talking is that, kind of avenue that gets that energy moving through the body and, you have the ability to open up. So I think a teacher training should be transformational in that regard. But I think the physical transformation in teacher training is really profound as well because you're doing more yoga than you've ever done.
Yeah. Because we had to do, what was it, like 45 classes in
8 weeks.
In 8 weeks. Oh yeah.
I just
Great
remember.
shape.
I remember people coming back from Bikram training. And it was like they were different people. Like they came in, they looked like superheroes. You're like, what is wrong? Like what just happened? Like what just happened to you? Because they'd just be like, and they'd just be so strong and.
Well, and Bikram training is 900 hours.
Yeah.
And it's typically 15 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's like nonstop 3.
And it's like
Oh,
6 or so hours of yoga a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you want to talk about taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
That's
pretty extreme.
Wild. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another teacher training.
I do too.
Talking about it makes me miss it.
It is. It's a thing. When it's over, you're like, ugh,
I know,
we just had this
All
bubble.
this time on my hands. I don't know what to do. Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing.
But you rolled out of teacher training and you started teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And
started
That's
teaching
amazing.
the fits.
I know.
The fits right away.
Which is so awesome because I don't know a lot of teachers that roll out of a 200-hour yoga teacher training and then start teaching a fitness-based class.
Mm-hmm.
But fitness is a passion for you. Tell us like what that is like for you, because I know you've been really into it for several years and it's transformed you physically. Like you've changed so much, I think.
Yeah, since I quit drinking, I kind of almost replaced fitness with my partying days.
Yeah,
sure.
But it keeps me sane. If I go too long without it, I start to not feel like myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
what kind of fitness do you like to do? You just do yoga these days, or you do like fit classes and that sort of thing?
Well, I haven't taken a fit. I used to take the fit classes all the time, but since I've been teaching so many, I hardly ever go anymore, which is a shame. I miss it.
Yeah.
But I love all types of fitness. I love yoga. I love strength training, weight training, swimming, running, biking.
All the things.
You've been doing. You did a lot of hiking.
Oh yeah.
This summer.
Yeah, I love hiking. Yeah.
You did your first backpacking trip?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Yeah, with my dad. It was amazing. Went to the Cirque Towers in Wyoming.
Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was hard carrying those 40-pound packs.
Yeah, it's no joke.
No. No, I thought I was ready for it. No,
Yeah.
I was
You're like, I work
not.
out. It's fine.
Yeah, I work out. No.
You gotta start. You gotta get a pack on and then teach fit with a 40-pound vest on.
Yeah, right. That's
and
how I
then
should
you'll
have.
be trained.
That's
Mhm.
how I should have prepped
Oh, look, Jack
for
is
it.
here. Hi, Jack.
Oh, Jack.
And my Lise. And my
Mike.
friend Terry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Terry, all the people.
It's a big day.
Hi, Jack.
Kristen.
Hi, Miley.
Everybody missed us.
You know, I know.
And it's Chris, really, that's the draw.
I know.
Everybody
I
wants-
Totally.
mean,
So give them some dirt, Chris. They want to hear something, you know?
some dirt.
So tell us what is your, what are your goals? I mean, what are you doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing?
You know,
Yeah.
we gotta figure this out.
Let's get down.
Well, I mean,
Let's
I
drill down.
recently started taking over some Pop Flow 2 classes,
Ooh.
so
Is that a little daunting?
a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole nother beast to tackle. It's definitely a nice change from Fit, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Cool.
Fit, you know, I'm just like yelling at everybody. Which is fun. I love it. But yeah, I've been really getting into the vinyasa aspects of teaching,
Cool.
which is a whole new beast to tackle.
You like tackling beasts.
Tackling, yeah, right. Yeah, just exploring different avenues of teaching mostly.
And are you?
I would love to get into the hots eventually,
Yeah.
teaching the hots.
What are we
Yeah.
doing? Let's do that.
Yeah.
I know.
All the things.
Let's do it.
And what are you thinking? I mean, you've been in the restaurant business for quite a while, and
Mhm.
nobody from Tasty Harmony is listening to this. Maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at some point, we outgrow probably the restaurant
Mhm.
business. I mean, I did it for a really long time until babies came along, and
It's just a
Other things.
restaurant. It's just such good, easy money.
I know.
It's just hard to get away
It's
from.
not easy,
Well, no, it's not easy,
Well-
but it's quick.
but you
Yeah.
know what you got to do in
It's
order to
quick
get to
money.
where you need to
Yeah,
get
it's
to.
quick money at short shifts, you know.
And
It's
it's-
not super challenging. Cash every day.
Mhm.
So it's really hard to step away
Well,
from.
and I think
Mhm.
people don't understand that, you can make a ton of money waiting tables.
Mhm.
I used to wait tables at Bojo's when I first moved here, and I was pregnant, big pregnant.
Oh, that's when you get the best tips.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, kind of. I also,
You might want to put on a pregnancy suit.
yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Baby
Apparently,
bump.
he is having twins this year.
That's true.
He's been doing these.
Oh, I've seen them
Yeah.
all. I've
Those
seen them
stupid
all.
quizzes.
It's like everyone. Chris is gonna have twins
I
in
know.
2020.
getting
I'm
married,
gonna have
he's having twins.
I'm gonna have a beer belly.
Maybe it's a pregnant belly. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie.
Yeah,
Nine-
junior.
Was it 9 months when he got
I think
pregnant?
it's called
Junior
Junior, right?
or twins? Remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Arnie and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it. Oh yeah, I got good tips mostly. Sometimes
Mhm.
people, I feel like, thought I was like this barefoot pregnant trashy waitress.
Really?
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
off
that's
as, you don't come
horrible.
off as trashy to me at all.
No.
Well, maybe
okay.
I was trashy then. I don't know.
Okay.
It was pre-yoga.
Yeah.
All right.
Everything was trashy pre-yoga. Just
Mm.
kidding. So do you have goals for more trainings? Do you have career goals?
Definitely more trainings.
Twin goals?
For sure. No twins. No thanks.
Do you want kids?
No.
You don't.
Ooh, he says that with
I love it.
disdain.
Hard no. Maybe like 5 or 6 cats, but
Wow,
that's
interesting.
about it. Yeah, no.
What
I'm
if
not
you
so
meet a
sure.
man who wants kids? Then what do you do?
Sorry.
Really? It's that much of a deal breaker.
I mean,
Which is fine. I'm not judging. I'm just really.
well, you don't really foresee that happen. I don't know.
What is it about having kids that you're like, absolutely not? Because the fact that you know, I think, is great.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people don't know that.
No, I feel like I could barely take care of myself.
You'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jana and I had no idea what we were doing, or no idea what we were getting into.
So are you?
Yeah.
If we
applying what you
had-
do now?
Well,
No, if we had known.
along with every new parent, though, right?
Yeah,
No one ever really
totally.
knows what they're doing.
No.
No.
I don't know, and I feel like I just don't really connect with kids in general
Mhm.
too much.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, what if you meet the man of your dreams and
Mhm.
he's always dreamed of
And
adopting
he said, "Let's have a
children
Oh.
or finding a
God.
surrogate?
I'm like,
You're giving him anxiety. Look at him. He's
I'm
like,
sweaty.
If you need a surrogate, you let me know.
Okay, deal.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, never say never, I guess. But that would not be the most ideal situation for me.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
What's ideal for you?
Yeah, he just told you 7 cats by himself
7
hanging
cats,
out. Yeah.
I don't think he
Yeah.
wants to be by himself. Do you?
No.
He's like,
No, not
nah,
necessarily.
not really.
I mean, I think you'd enjoy a partner and 7 to 12 cats.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the ideal situation.
And do you like Fort Collins? Planning on
Uh-huh.
staying here for a while?
I do. You know, I've been debating maybe relocating this year.
Ooh,
I've been thinking about it. I mean,
Where?
nothing's set in stone.
what are you thinking?
Possibly Denver.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
When I originally moved to Colorado, I was trying to move to Denver
Uh-huh.
How'd you end up north of Denver?
because, well, I was kind of in a place where I had to find a place, and I had to find a place really fast because my lease was ending like very soon in Rock Springs, so I just had to find somewhere, and just the first place to pop up was here in Fort Collins.
Hmm.
You were
So I
like,
just
Fort
kinda-
Collins, Denver, same thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to get out of Rock Springs mostly, so I just snatched it up and
Stayed
There
a
you
while.
go.
yeah, and stayed a while. And I'm
Cool.
really glad I did because I found you guys,
Mm.
found YogaPod.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fort
So I'm
Collins
really
is a
thankful.
magical place.
it is. I
It's
really
great.
do love it here a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of really awesome people here, and
Hmm.
the yoga and fitness community here, I think, is already incredible, but I think it's shaping out to be something really transformational and notable
Yeah,
in terms of Fort Collins. And people here like to be active. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we like to do stuff, and that's so different from how we were brought up in
hmm
Wyoming. I mean, we were almost active by default because it was like you had to be outside really if you wanted to do anything. So
Sure.
Which is hard to do in Wyoming when it's so freaking windy.
so windy and
like you can't even really do
cold.
much outside because the wind is so bad.
Yeah,
Mm.
and Fort Collins is mild. You know,
Yeah.
the weather's mild, and it's a really neat place. You know, Ben and I have been here 13 years, and we had some friends when we first moved here, like a kind of a small group of friends that I don't think any of them I keep in touch with anymore. But it's only been in the last 2 or 3 years since the studio opened that I feel like we finally have a community. Like, we finally have people that we love and people that we trust and people that we enjoy being around. Like, those are my people, the studio and the members and the teachers. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to keep my Fort Collins family intact and let the boys grow up here. But, you know, I get concerned too. I think high school here is overwhelming to think about.
Mhm.
How many people were in your graduating class?
Oh, I can't remember. Maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
260.
really remember though.
Mine was
Yeah.
about 260. Small high school. What about you, Ken? Where did you grow up? Texas? Just kidding. I know it was Pennsylvania.
It wasn't Pennsylvania.
Washington,
Nope.
Maine.
You want to keep going? Nope.
Hold on. No.
It's a
New
lot of
Jersey.
dead air.
Yeah.
Nope. The last place I lived before I moved here was New York, right outside New
Vermont.
York City. I lived in Vermont for 2 years before that. Yep.
Did you like Vermont?
Yeah, it was fine.
Where were you
I
born?
drove through there recently.
Stanford, Connecticut.
I said Connecticut.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You said Washington.
That's the
Anyway.
same thing.
But yeah, I was born in Connecticut, lived all over the East Coast. Went to 3 different high schools. The last high school I went to, there were 40 kids.
Why
It's
did
like-
you go to 3 different high schools?
Well, I went to high school in Vermont for 2 years, and then I uh, went to go live with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just leave it at that. And then
That
I went
sounds
to the
cryptic.
big. I went to like the big high school, basically like where in the same town where the Clintons live.
Oh.
Was not really my thing,
Okay.
to say the least. And then I was kind of on the border of maybe not graduating, and things weren't going particularly well. And I went to this little hippie high school called YogaPod
Nice.
with 40 kids, where we sat on the floor and yeah.
Did you do
And
walkabouts?
we did, yeah. We did like a lot of nope.
So I've been
did a lot of staring at grass and all
Well,
sorts of fun things.
There's something
Yeah.
to that. Have you? I mean, you've heard of grounding or like earthing.
Yeah,
I watched the documentary on it. Did you guys watch this?
I've got our earthing pad right over there.
Yeah, so the guy who created it is really fascinating. He was in the cable business, and he was like really, in I think the 40s or 50s when cable was like getting into the home, and he was instrumental in a lot of that. And so he was doing pretty well as like a family guy, and he bought his kids a couple of computers and was sitting looking at it, realizing this is just like a TV that hasn't been like grounded and connected to a satellite. And that's how he created the first cable modem, was from like this concept of grounding. And he was on top of the world. He bought like a 5,000 acre cabin up in Evergreen. He had $250,000 of art hanging over his toilet, just living the dream. And woke up one morning in like almost total liver failure. And they had to remove like 75% of his liver. And it took him a year to recover. And he woke up one morning and realized, he's just like, what the fuck am I doing, basically? Mm-hmm. So he gave away all his artwork, sold his house, bought an RV, and ended up down in Sedona, Arizona, which is where he started playing around with this concept of grounding, which is being barefoot on the earth. And he was running all these tests on himself and just having these insane health like he was still, he had 25% of his liver. So obviously he's not functioning well, but the grounding was causing all of these health gains for him. And he just kept thinking, there's something to this. So started getting in doctors and researchers. And the whole concept behind it is we are absorbing like electrons all the time with our phones and our computers and all the things. And in communication, anything that's not grounded creates static electricity. And it dawned on him that as soon as the rubber sole was made, the synthetic rubber sole for tennis shoes, we as humans began to insulate ourselves from the earth, no longer grounding ourselves at all, which is why our bodies are full of free radicals, and why people have arthritis and undescribable pain like fibromyalgia and cancers and all of these things, because we've been insulated from the earth for the last 60-something years. So it was really fascinating, and I don't know why I'm talking about it, but your walkabout school. So go barefoot.
Well, I'm all about that.
Is the whole thing. I think if our kids could like go spend an hour outside barefoot, or we could go lay in the grass or do yoga in the grass or whatever, then maybe we wouldn't all feel so crazy all the time. I mean, I don't
feel crazy.
I don't feel crazy.
What are you talking about?
At all.
I'm good.
I'm totally grounded.
Totally good.
I love that idea, though. I'm all about being barefoot.
Well, and I was thinking about our childhoods, in Wyoming, and it's like
running around in the dirt.
Just running around barefoot.
Yeah.
It was a dream childhood, and like, where did that stop? And how do we get back to that place of just feeling grounded, feeling connected, you know, and having that community and all of these other pieces in place in our life now that we didn't have in our 20s, how can we continue to build on that and make for a healthier life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were the days.
They were the days.
Yeah.
They were the days, but we can have those days now.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
true.
like we're in the days right now.
These are the days. My sister said that to me one time.
Mhm.
She's like, there are no other days. These are the days.
This is it. All we got is this moment right now.
The three of us,
That's right.
Hey,
stone
yeah.
cold sober,
Yep.
talking
Sober
about yoga.
Sally's.
Stone cold
Sober-
something.
Sober party moms. That's what I call myself.
You are a sober party mom.
Hmm.
So where can we catch you? How can people find out more about you and what you do?
Oh man, come to all the classes.
Okay.
YogaPod, of course.
Mhm.
And you teach elsewhere as well. Where's that?
Yeah, and I teach at Ascent as well.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Ascent Climbing Studio.
You and Jesse, right?
Yep,
You're
me and Jessie.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. Good old Jessie. Love her too.
Mhm.
Hey, Jessie.
And Tasty Harmony. You can go
Yeah.
have Chris serve you delicious lavender cake.
Yes,
Mm.
lemon lavender cake.
Mm. Delicious.
Yeah.
What else? Are you going to start a website for all your horror film and cat?
Oh God,
Memes.
that would be incredible. That would be fun. Start a horror podcast. Yeah, I do love my horror
Oh,
movies.
you should totally
Mm.
start a horror
I
podcast.
know.
It's
I
good
know.
times. Yeah.
It's like all I listen to in my free time. I should.
Well, we're super excited to have you on the team, and Chris's classes, people love them. They're full. You got to show up early to get a spot, and he's crushing it all the time.
That's
And
right.
Oh man,
we're
doing my
just
best.
grateful he's here. And
Yep, and I'm grateful for you guys.
Oh,
of
thanks.
course, thank you. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have a YogaPod.
Oh.
well, we wouldn't be
So
anywhere
sweet.
if we didn't have awesome teachers either. So,
Mhm.
well, thanks for conquering your fears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Try it. Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me.
Yeah. You bet.
Any
Yeah.
final questions or thoughts, Ken? Musings?
No,
Any
you know,
other
if people
things?
dig this, they can like it, share it, rate and review us, let us know how we're doing.
Mhm.
That's the best way to support us.
Yeah, that and millions of dollars.
That's right.
Yes. Be nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.